We're back now with a look at Americans' finances as we approach the holiday shopping season. New data shows Americans are digging themselves deeper into credit card debt, which is now hitting an all-time high.
For the first time ever, the total credit card debt across the U.S. has topped $1 trillion. That's a $154 billion spike from this time last year, and the largest increase in more than 2 decades.
For more on this, we are joined by Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver. Caleb, good to have you with us. So just what do you make of this staggering amount of debt? Break it down as to why we are seeing these higher credit card balances.
Yeah, we're big spenders, and this is the largest debt increase since 1999. Why? We've been spending a lot. We still have persistent inflation. It may be slowing, but prices are still high, and credit card APRs are north of 20%. So remember, credit card APRs, the interest you pay on your credit card, that's variable. So as the Fed has been raising interest rates so aggressively, 14 times, you see these credit card APRs go up, yet we keep spending into it, and debt is increasing. That's what we're seeing right now.
So as Joe mentioned, first I'd like to point out that you put it as we're approaching the holiday shopping season, because that's right. Nobody's needed to start yet, as I certainly haven't. But people are going to start spending more. Actually, according to the National Retail Federation, people are going to be up with their spending, set to spend an average of $875 on gifts. I mean, what happens when you factor that into the already mounting debt?
Yeah, you're going to see more credit card debt. You're going to see more buy now, pay later usage. That is already up tenfold in just the last few years since they rolled it out. That is also another form of revolving consumer debt. So we are spending ourselves into debt. The savings rate, which was so high during the pandemic because a lot of people were getting checks from the government, that has gone from a high of about 14-15% to about 2 to 3%. So less savings, more spending at higher APRs. That's where you get this record debt.
I want to ask you more about buy now, pay later. That is becoming more popular. Basically, no fees, no interest. You usually have to pay back within 6 weeks. It's assuming you do pay it back within 6 weeks. How does that compare with credit cards? What are the pros and cons of going that way?
Well, the pros are the lack of interest on it, but a lot of people become very delinquent on BNPL, buy now, pay later services, and people usually with the lowest credit scores and the least ability to borrow use buy now, pay later. So it's a cyclical debt cycle that you get into if you don't pay these loans back. A lot of people turn to those, and a lot of people turn to their credit cards now, even if they have these high balances, because they don't want to not shop. We shop like it's our job here in this country.
Right. Give us some advice. How should you go about paying this down if you are sitting in some credit card debt?
Yeah, and a lot of people are. And when you have really high debt at a really high rate, you got to call up your credit card company. They don't want to lose you. Believe me, as a customer, call them and negotiate a better rate. If they won't, other credit card companies would love to have your business consolidate under a lower interest rate. Or if you have to, take out a personal loan, wipe out the high credit card debt. Those loans are usually at a low rate, but you got to pay that too. So don't get yourself into this debt cycle where you're just borrowing from one thing to pay the other and never paying the big balance off. But that's the way to do it, and control the spending. It's really hard, especially going into the holiday season, but you have to retain that high interest credit card debt. Got to keep it low. That'll hurt your credit score in the long run.
I feel like once we get through the holidays, we're going to see people pulling back a little bit on spending. Does it seem like we're heading that way?
Probably, but you never know. With prices remaining high, people have a hard time reining it in. We'll see what happens.
All right. Caleb Silver, thank you so much.
Always great info. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.